Welcome to the block party. My name is Seth Kushner, and I'm not even sure if Blake knows this, but this is his third time on the block party, back-to-back Stanley Cup champion, new member of the Calgary Flames. Blake, welcome back, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I want to know right off the bat, who do you miss most on the Lightning? Who do you just wake up and sometimes from a dream and go, man, I wish I was still playing with this guy, and I need to text him.
Gosh, man, I don't know. There's a lot of guys. It was a fun group. It's really just the whole team. It was such a close group, and we had a lot of good times together. I mean, I still keep in touch with a lot of the guys. Haven't seen them really. I saw Yanni obviously in Seattle recently, and I've seen Goody a couple times, so it's good to see them and catch up and just spend some time with them. But it'd be good tomorrow to get to see all the boys, in the locker room and just kind of relive it a little bit.
Yeah, listen, I'm not sure what's gonna happen. You're going to Amley to practice in a little bit. You haven't gotten your ring yet, right?
No, no, I think tomorrow I'm slated to go see it.
Tomorrow, okay, all right. So, what do you think? I mean, I know you've seen it so far. Do you like it? Is it impressive? Do you feel like it's more impressive than last year's?
I mean, it looks nice. I think it's one of those things you gotta really see it in person and feel it. And um, last year's was or the first year's was pretty incredible. So it's a tough one to beat, but I'm excited to see it and physically kind of hold it and feel it and all that. So looking forward to it for sure.
All right, I know you're not thinking about this, but these are the things that I think about because I'm an emotional person. The Lightning have been absolutely killing the tribute videos to everybody that's come back from the Stanley Cup team. Yanni Gord, everybody's ended up, crying. I'm sure I don't know anything about anything. I'm sure the Lightning are going to have one for you tonight. Is that something that you'll feel like you might get emotional seeing, or are you just going to be so focused on the game that you might not be able to get in that moment?
Uh, no, I mean, I think anytime you kind of see something like that and you get to go back and relive it, it's going to be emotional. Obviously, it was a big part of my life and my family's life. My wife and daughter are flying in to be there, and so I'm excited to share it with them. And we have such good memories and fond memories of Tampa and the fans here. So it was short, but it was pretty special, and obviously a lot happened in my time here. So um, I'm excited for that. Obviously, there's still a game to play, so you can't get too caught up in it, but it'll be fun.
The first time I interviewed you was during the pause. I think you had played like 8 games after the Lightning had acquired you. I think you were in Dallas. You were holding Charlie like in a Target parking garage or something was going on. We did the whole interview in the car. Your life's been a whirlwind since then. I mean, now that you've signed with Calgary, you've got the long-term deal. Do you feel like your life is starting to calm down a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, the term of the deal is nice. Like you finally feel like you've got a little bit of a runway to settle in and make a home for your family. And um, like you said, my 2 years in Tampa were chaotic and crazy. And obviously, I had two girls in 2 years and two cups, um, and knew that it was probably pretty unlikely that I could come back. So it was crazy, but we're definitely settling in a little bit. We're enjoying our time in Calgary. It's been really good there. They've taken really good care of us, and now Tampa is just a really really great memory for us, and something we look back on fondly.
When did you know that you weren't going to be able to come back to Tampa? I mean, I think everybody knew you were due for a payday, and the Lightning just weren't able to give out paydays. Was that something you knew in the middle of the season? Did you feel like, hey, we'll get through this, and then maybe something will happen? Or when did you just go, hey, this was some great time here, but it's just not going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you never really know. I guess hockey is a crazy sport. Injuries could happen. Um, Guys play could fall. Anything could have happened. I guess so. I tried not to think about it too much. I was kind of just focused on going on another run and hopefully getting another ring, which we were fortunate to do. And then I think once the playoffs ended, it's kind of like, oh wow, okay, now what? Where's the next chapter? And I think then it became pretty quickly it became clear that it was just going to be too tight of a cap situation here, and and then obviously Yanni getting picked up and Goody signing, before free agency and getting traded, and that I was like, well, that looks like the band's dismantling. So I just knew I was the next domino, and then I turned, obviously to figure out where we were going to go.
I mean, that's got to be a great point in your life right now. I mean, to be a free agent, to have, a lot of leverage. What was it like to have, and you also have to make a decision quickly. This isn't like a thing that happens, over months. What was it like to have teams court you? And then, did you feel pressure? What was it like to make a life-changing decision like that, in maybe 48 hours? Who knows how long you had?
Yeah, I mean, it started out as a fun process and ended as a very stressful one. But we definitely had. I was fortunate, I had a lot of teams that had reached out and shown interest, and thankfully we had some options, and I knew that there weren't any bad options. Like, I think my family would have been happy, anywhere. It just, it had to be the right fit for a team and all that as well. So it was all going really good, really good. And then at the last second, it was like, all right, you have to make a decision. And it was down to a couple teams, and it was just like, me and my wife can't even decide where to go to dinner. So deciding our next 6 years was that was a tough that's a tough one for us. But I think it was 2:30 in the morning when we finally were like, screw it, we're going to Calgary. And that was it. That's how it happened.
Dude, it's I mean, it looks like you're really enjoying yourself. I follow you on Instagram. You're getting all over town. Now, the other night, everybody seemed to be going crazy over this. I don't know if this was just on your story or a post, but you were in the hot tub. It was freezing. You were wearing, I don't know if it was a hat of icicles or something going on. What's going on? Is the hot tub in freezing temperatures? Is that the thing in Calgary?
That was my hair. That was no hat. It was yeah, it was negative 30. We were staying up in Banff Springs for Christmas, and they have a spa there. So we were like, oh, we got to get outside and we got to see what it's like to hot tub in negative 30. And we got out there, and about 30 seconds into standing up out of the tub, our hair turned into icicles and was frozen solid. And it was, I just hadn't had that experience in Dallas or Tampa. So it was, that was a new one for me.
You just stayed in long enough to take the picture, then got out, right?
Yeah, it felt pretty good at first, and then once my eyebrows and mouth went numb, I was like, all right, it's probably time to get back inside.
Yeah, then Calgary comes out, and Blake Coleman's day to day with hypothermia. Like, we don't need that. There's already so much other stuff going on. You mentioned Yanni, being unprotected, and obviously that wasn't really anything you were too concerned about, being protected or not protected, because you were going to be a free agent. What did you think when the Lightning decided to leave a lot of those guys unprotected, especially Yanni?
Well, I mean, that was a tough situation for them. I mean, you're going to leave somebody that's a great player and good person unprotected, and it's a good problem to have. That means you have a really good team and a lot of depth. And Yanni was a big part of this organization for a long time, and I know it wasn't an easy choice. And at the end of the day, it's a tough business. But it is a business, and that's part of it. And I know that Yanni loved it in Tampa, and I'm sure he would have loved to have stayed, but as we all would have, we all had such good times there and good memories. But at the end of the day, somebody had to go, and unfortunately, he was the odd man out. And obviously now he's an assistant captain and doing well in Seattle. So life has a way of working itself out. But I'm sure that was a hard one for them.
All right. Now, I don't think I've ever used this word on the block party before, so I hope I'm using it correctly. If it is a word, romanticism or something, it seemed to be, at least from the fans' perspective, between you, Goody, and Gord, that third line, when you got with the first cup, the second cup, you guys played together so much. It seemed to be like, oh my God, the third line's leaving, and we can't believe this is happening. How do we replace these guys? Did you guys feel that connection? Because I talked to Yanni about it, and I said, did you feel, a special bond with those guys forever? And he goes, I feel a bond with the whole team, not necessarily just that line. Was that more of just like a fan favorite line? Because you guys were the openers in the playoffs, the closers. I mean, you guys, obviously, we wouldn't have won any cups without you guys. So is there that like romantic thing with you in that third line, or was it just the whole experience of being with the Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, I think both. I obviously think about the team first, but then when you break it down, it's obviously you definitely bond with guys that you play with and spend all that time with and watch video with, and you're down in the trenches. And I think the city embraced us because we were kind of that blue collar. It's not always pretty. Sometimes it's pretty ugly actually. You just kind of find a way to get it done, and we all had that same mentality and same work ethic. And yeah, so it was almost fitting that we kind of came in together and all left together at the same time.
Do you feel like now that you're in Calgary, coming off 2 cups, I feel like this is like Toy Story, where like Buzz Lightyear goes into the toy machine and all the aliens are looking up at him, being like, "This is our ruler." Like, do the guys in Calgary look up to you, or do you feel like you're a leader now coming into that locker room?
Yeah, I mean, Daryl Sutter, our coach here, did a good job bringing in. He didn't bring in just me. He brought in Trevor Lewis and Brad Richardson this offseason, and they've got 3 cups combined there, and then obviously Milan Lucic has a cup. So now we got a handful of guys, and I think you're immediately looked upon for experience, and you're guys that understand what it takes to win now and have been through it and know how grueling it can be. And I think anytime you can get that sort of experience in your room, it's just going to benefit a team. And I think we have strong leadership here in Calgary, and we've been having a good season. So I think the biggest time of the year where that really shows up is obviously in the playoff time when you're going through it. But you definitely try to bring as much as you can to the table.
Do you find yourself talking to any of your teammates and just going like, "Oh my God, I'm giving like the same advice that Pat Maroon gave me," or "I'm doing the same thing that Stamkos told me"? Are there certain guys that you learn things from that now you're taking to Calgary?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely things you learn and pick up on, and there's not one way to do it. A Braden Point is completely different than a Ryan McDonough or Andre Palat. Everybody does things differently, but it's just you got to find that balance and what works for you. And you definitely learn a lot from each individual player. Different things you just kind of notice, and you're like, all right, that's what it looks like to win and pay the price and do it right. So yeah, there's definitely sharing of stories, and there were guys that I looked up to for sure in Tampa that taught me a lot, and hopefully I can have that same example for guys here in Calgary.
All right, now talk to me about the boat parade. Who did you look up to during the boat parade? Who was the MVP of this celebration? And I forgot, whose boat were you on? And tell me about that day for you before the hurricane hit us.
Yeah, before the monsoon came in, that day was great. I can't remember the name of the guy whose boat we were on, but we had a great boat. It was big. Definitely had a nice boat. I had my whole crew in town. I always roll with 15 at least deep. I have a FOMO family for sure. So we had a good time. I think year 2 boat parade, Yanni was probably my MVP. Shirt off on the tower, middle of the monsoon, sliding across the ground on I don't even know, a little trolley thing. This guy's nuts, but I think it was fun for me to see him open up like that because he's such a serious guy around the rink at times, and he's such a competitor and warrior, and just to see that it was just that feeling of like, we did it, we made it. Look at this guy. I mean, Cooch too, that same sort of thing. Obviously, you get that serious Cooch in the playoffs, and he just wants to win, and he's just driven, and then all of a sudden he just cuts it loose, and he's dumping Bud Lights all over his face and making memes and all that good stuff. But it's fun. That's what it's all about, that's what winning's about. You see it in every sport. Obviously, Tom Brady getting hammered on a boat parade, and just things you wouldn't see on a normal Tuesday. So that's what makes all the good memories.
Did you have a plan? I talked to Yanni, I believe, and Yanni told me that his plan was to take it real easy because he was with his family. He didn't want to get carried away, and then we know what ended up happening. Did you have a plan since you were going to be with the family, and did that go out the window early on?
You know what? A lot of people don't know this. I actually was in the hospital the night before. I had a staph infection in my elbow. I actually got a nice little scar there to tell the story, but
Wow.
yeah, from celebrating in the locker room, I guess from dumping all the beers and champagne down my equipment till 4 a.m. I didn't change or shower or whatever. So I got a nice staph infection in the elbow. My arm swelled up to the size of Popeye. And
Oh
so I was
my,
in the hospital all night on an IV, getting antibiotics. And then I convinced my nurse to let me out because I had a boat parade to attend. And they were like, no, you can't leave. And I was like, well, I'm leaving. So unhook me and I'm out the door. So they let me go. So I just, I was on some pretty heavy antibiotics. So I nursed a couple beers and I basically just sprayed people for 15 hours straight. But
was there, did you think that you might not make the boat parade, or you knew no matter what you were getting out of there?
I don't care if I was still hooked up to the IV, I was going. So I made it there, and then my arm started swelling back up again to pretty drastic length. So I was right back in the hospital immediately after the monsoon hit. For about 4 days. I actually had surgery. Yeah, it was a good time.
Geez,
but,
did you
totally
disclose
worth
this?
it.
Did you disclose this to Calgary before they gave you all that money?
No, it was just my own private matter. But
That's all right. So just in case anybody's listening out there, if you win the Stanley Cup, take your pads off when you're dumping alcohol on yourself, because if you mix alcohol in your pads, it's going to give you a staph infection.
maybe a quick rinse. Just pop in the shower for like 10 seconds before you start champagneing yourself to death.
Oh man, you were in and out of the hospital, but you made it for the boat parade. Wow, that's a hell of a story. I'm glad you shared that with me. Blake, I want to ask you, tell me now that it seems to be a big thing, it's catching on, especially because of social media. The kids, when you guys are warming up, they're holding up the signs, they want the puck. I'm skipping school, it's my first game, blah, blah, blah. What's the most creative sign that you've seen so far? Anything get your attention? And are you flipping any pucks to the kids?
Yeah, I definitely. Oh, especially if my name or number's on it, it's going, you're getting a puck every time. I'm a big softie, especially now that I have two kids. And I was that kid. I was the kid at the game, holding up signs and getting pucks. And so I definitely have an appreciation for it. I don't know. There's been some pretty funny signs. I think one of my teammates had a sign and it was a girl in the stands, and it had like "remember me" with a question mark, and that one raised a lot of eyebrows in our room. And apparently that's not what it meant, so he says. But well, there's been some good ones.
There's a lot of those. There's a lot of girls that are holding up things alluding to, like, remember me. And I don't know if it's just, to get some clout online, or if it's actually true and they want to make these guys feel uncomfortable. I can't figure it out.
I can't imagine this one was true, but you know what? If it is, who knows? And I think I had a nice candy exchange this year. I had a bag of candy and was like, "I'm trading for a puck," and I threw him the puck, and I was like, "Don't, I don't need I'm good. Thank you for the offer." And he ended up just chucking this massive bag of candy over the glass. So I was like, all right, I guess this is mine now.
You didn't eat any of the candy though, did you? Just gave it to, you just left it somewhere?
No, I did have a few bites, and then actually I became the favorite on the flight that trip. I just started dishing it out to everybody, and the card table enjoyed it.
Look at that, Candy Coleman. All right, so here's something I want to know. You talked about having kids. I have a daughter who's 4. What are we watching on Disney right now? What do we watch over vacation? Are you watching Encanto? What's going on right now in your world?
Oh man, we're still we're in a pretty heavy Coco Melon phase right now. I think I memorized every song on that show, unfortunately. But we're graduating into some Disney. Like, she likes Cars on Disney. Trying to get her into that next step of like Frozen and things that are a little bit more bearable to watch on a day-to-day basis.
Is she able to watch you? Does she like hockey at all, or she's got no interest in that?
She loves it. Yeah, she gets all fired up. She sees a Flames jersey, she says "Dad" and gets all excited. I think she's going to a game. So that's been pretty cool for me to watch.
All right, Blake, listen, you got to go practice. You're going to get your ring tomorrow. It's going to be a tribute. One last question for you. How you working Vazzy tomorrow night? You know where to shoot on Vazzy? You know all his weak spots?
There's not many of them, but I think I've got a few tricks on my sleeve. Just got to get pucks on net. It's a big decor. I got to get there first.
Blake, thank you so much, man. I've had you on the block party a bunch. It was a hell of a ride, like that you had here in Tampa. To me, it was quick. You won 2 Stanley Cups. You got out of here, got a sweet deal. It looks like on Instagram and everything, you're having a great time in Calgary, playing well. So thanks for everything you did for Tampa. Thanks for bringing us these cups, man, and thanks for coming on the block party and always being great.
Thanks, Seth. Appreciate it.